What has gone right for the Orlando Magic now that they've won 6 of their last 8 games? And the home ahead today on Locked On Magic.
You are Locked On Magic, your daily Orlando Magic podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
And you are indeed Locked On Magic. Today is February 26, 2026. My name is Philip Rossman-Reich. I'm the senior writer over at OrlandoMagicDaily.com, credentialed member of the Orlando Magic media since the 2012 season. On today's episode of Locked On Magic, what has gone right for the Orlando Magic? They've won 6 of their last 8 games. They've started to maybe figure some things out. We'll talk about what the Magic are doing that has changed things. Some of it's going to be obvious. And we'll talk about the home ahead, the big homestand the Magic have coming up as they try to continue this momentum. We'll get to all that coming up here in just a moment. But before we do that, we want to thank you again for making Locked On Magic part of your day every day, no matter when you listen to us, whether it's first thing in the morning, whether it's right when we upload. We truly appreciate you making Locked On Magic part of your day every day. You can make Locked On Magic even bigger part of your day by being one of our Orlando Magic dailies, our everydayers who listen 5 days a week, who listen on the weekends when we do our weekend episodes, who make us part of your regular podcast rotation, who make us your first listen of the day, who are part of our everydayer club. We want to thank you again for helping make the Locked On Magic community such a great and growing community. And we want to thank you for helping make the Locked On Podcast Network the #1 sports podcast network. It's your team every day. Today's episode of Locked On Magic is brought to you by 5 Hour Energy. Have your cake and drink it too. Birthday cake flavor is back. No fork needed. Vanilla-y cakey flavor, caffeinated kick, and no sugar. It is party time. Order now at 5hourenergy.com or Amazon. This season for the Orlando Magic has largely been one filled with frustration. It's largely been a season of why isn't this working? What's wrong with this team? Why haven't the pieces quite fit and come together the way that we all imagined, or the way that it felt so simple to do? There's a lot of frustration. And look, it's not just fans. Like I'll tell you this. It's not just fans. Being around the team, you feel the frustration. They're the ones trying to figure this out, and they haven't been able to put all the puzzle pieces together. Certainly injuries have played a role. Paolo missed the 15 games that he missed early in the season. He comes back. Franz is now out. He's missed 29 of the last 33 games. Nearly half of a season has gone by without Franz Wagner. And it will be more than half of a season because he's going to miss more games coming up. But it has been a season of false starts and a season of what's going on. And and again, like the way that I would describe it, it's not necessarily that like players are playing poorly. Like, yeah, it took Desmond Bane a little while to find his footing. Paolo Banchero has not had a great season by the standards that I think we should set him to. Starting to figure some things out, and I don't think he's been like a season where you abandon him. Jalen Suggs has been in and out of the lineup with injuries ever since the NBA Cup in Vegas. It has been a season where just the puzzle pieces haven't fit together as cleanly as the Magic would want. And because a lot of their injuries haven't been super long-term, there's just been this feeling of instability. When the Magic came home for that 4-game homestand before the All-Star break, I sat here and I said this. Over the next 12 games, the 4 games before the break, the 4-game road trip, and the upcoming 4 games, if the Magic wanted to do anything serious, they had to go 8-4. 8 of 12 games, 8-4. For a like moderately good team, the schedule is certainly set up for them to do that. They'd have to steal some games here and there, and they got a big one beating Toronto. Or that was during the road trip, but they beat Toronto during the previous run when I was like they had to win a bunch of games there. The Magic are starting to percolate a little bit. The Magic are starting to kind of find themselves a little bit. Now, they are getting ready for a very difficult March. You know, Sunday, March 1st, The Magic play the Pistons. That is a great symbol of how difficult this March is going to be. We'll talk about the road ahead coming up here in a minute. But first, the Magic had to just prove they can do it. Remember what I always say during Summer League. In Summer League, it's not about whether you can play. It's about figuring out whether you can't play. And it's better to know, and because like roles are different on a Summer League team than they will be with the regular team, it's better to know a guy can do something than they can't. And so, like, yes, I will acknowledge the Magic schedule over the last 8 games, where they've won 6 of their last 8. It's not particularly difficult. You played Brooklyn, probably the worst team probably the second worst team in the league right now. You played Utah, and Utah handed you a game. They tanked. You played Milwaukee twice. Now, Milwaukee's looking like a pretty good win right now because the Bucks are playing really well. You played Sacramento, the worst team in the league. You played the Clippers, team that's under 500, but team that's playing better. I don't want to take anything away from them. Really, if you look at these 6 games that the Magic have won, these 6 of the last 8, the 2 losses are to a red-hot Milwaukee team. Remember, Milwaukee came to Orlando on a 3-game win streak. Orlando won that game to get to their 3-game win streak, and then lost the return game in Orlando. They lost to Phoenix, a team that is above 500, but without a lot of key players. The only winning team that they beat during the stretch was the Lakers on Tuesday. And so we'll talk about the schedule here. The challenges are about to get better, but it's good to know the Magic can do this because throughout the course of the season, they haven't. They've dropped games that they shouldn't have dropped. They've lost games to bad teams. They looked inconsistent. And so for the first time since November, you feel like you can count on the Magic to do things. Again, in winning 6 of the last 8 games, the Magic have put together a really sterling record, a plus 9.5 net rating, something you expect a good team to be able to do. In the last 8 games, the Magic have a 105.7 defensive rating. That is second in the league over every team's last 8 games. I will note the Houston Rockets tonight are third at 106.7, so should be a good matchup tonight. And the Magic's 115.2 offensive rating is 11th, tied for 10th with New Orleans. The Magic over the last 8 games have played like a pretty good team. They played like a team that should have won 6 of the last 8. And again, both those losses came down to the last possessions. Franz Wagner had a game-tying 3 with about a minute and a half left against Milwaukee. Jalen Green obviously hit the game winner in double overtime over the weekend. But I think it's important to note that what's worked for the Magic is they've gotten back a little bit to their identity. Their defense is leading the way. It's not shaky. It's not falling apart when they struggle. The only game where it really fell apart was the Milwaukee game. The Milwaukee game, the Milwaukee loss, not the win. The Milwaukee loss played out like every game's played out this season, where the Magic hit a little offensive rut. They let go of the rope defensively, and then they're so talented, they scramble back into the game and give themselves a chance at the end. Every other game has been, no, our defense is pretty good. We're going to defend pretty hard. And on top of that, the Magic have adopted all the other things that were part of their identity this year. The Magic are second in the league in turnover rate at 12.4%. They are getting out in transition and getting fast break points, if I could load up those stats real fast. Over the last 8 games, the Magic are 8th in the league in fast break points at 17.9 fast break points per game. They are 4th in the league in points off turnovers at 20.4%. The Magic's defense has really stepped up its game. Like, one of the things that has slipped defensively this year is their ability to force turnovers. The Magic are 7th in the league with an opponent turnover rate of 15.9% over the last 8 games. That's not elite like it was last year, but it's, again, creeping up to where the Magic are. What has happened over the last 8 games, then, is the Magic have reestablished their standard. Now, again, like, poo-poo it. Go ahead. Like, the schedule's been soft. You got to take advantage of the soft parts of your schedule. When you get teams that are bad, you beat them. Can't lose to Washington and Dallas next week. Can't drop those games to those kinds of teams. You've got to beat those teams right now. The schedule's going to get tough, and we'll talk schedule here in a minute. But the Magic have found a little bit of a groove. And we cannot take that away from them because they've struggled to find it all year. And so, for the first time since November at least, the Magic seem to be playing Magic basketball. So who has gone right? Who's stepped up over the last 8 games? We'll talk about that coming up here in just a moment. But first, today's episode of Locked On Magic is sponsored by 5 Hour Energy. Welcome to the 5 Hour Energy Flavor Draft with 18 different flavors to choose from, including new options like confetti craze, free rainbow, or cotton candy. There is something for everyone. The board is set, the flavors are ready, and I've got my number one pick for the 5 Hour Energy Flavor Draft. Usually when I go for these energy drinks, I'm not looking for the fruity flavors. Sorry cherry, sorry grape, sorry berry, sorry Hawaiian breeze. I usually go for something fun. It might be confetti craze. I do love a nice little sweet vanilla-y energy drink. But today I want to talk about another one, sour apple. You would think sour apple, that's not a great taste, but honestly, I love that kind of soury sweet taste that you get from a sour apple. It's an apple that bites back, a crisp, tangy taste, delicious tart, bold, a little sweet, and a lot sour. If you're looking for that fruit taste in your energy drink, that's where you want to turn. 5 Hour Energy shots give you a boost with 0 sugar. There's a lot of upcoming flavor innovations planned. So even these fun flavors, there's a whole lot more coming down the 5 Hour Energy pipe. Find your new favorite flavor of 5 Hour Energy shots available only online, or available online, not only online, available online at 5hourenergy.com or Amazon. Again, find your new favorite 5 Hour Energy shot available online at 5hourenergy.com or on Amazon. Today's episode of Locked On Magic is brought to you by our friends over at Game Time. There's nothing like being in an NBA arena. The crowd, the energy, the moment. Getting tickets, though, that part hasn't always been simple. That's why Game Time has become the go-to app for scoring tickets fast without the hassle. It puts the advantage back where it belongs, with the fans. Typically, when I travel, like I'm going to games as media. It's been a while since I've been to a game as a fan, but when I go to a game as a fan, I check out Game Time to get my tickets. And it's not just sports, it's concerts, it's events. Game Time has it all. I'm going next week to Minneapolis. I know, sounds crazy to go to Minneapolis in March, but I will be in Minneapolis for the Magic's game against the Timberwolves. Just so happens my Northwestern Wildcats are playing Minnesota the same day at the Barn. I had to go. I had to go see my Wildcats play. Magic play in the afternoon, Northwestern in the evening. It is a perfect basketball doubleheader, assuming that both teams play well, which has not always been the case this year. So I hit up Game Time. I saw the prices. I was like, you know what? I'm going to wait a little bit, see if those prices come down. I got seats right behind the Northwestern bench at the same price that Upper Bowl tickets were going for a month ago. Game Time is your gateway to any event you want to go to. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets, whether it's for the NBA, college, or anything else with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDON for $20 off your first purchase. That's code LOCKEDON, LOCKEDON, for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today, and remember, it's gametime.co, not .com. We want to thank you for making Locked On Magic part of your day every day. Make Locked On Magic even bigger part of your day by joining our Everydayer Club. With the Everydayer Club, you get access to the ad-free audio feed of this podcast, plus members-only Discord access you can join at lockedonmagic.supercast.com. That's lockedonmagic.supercast.com. Obviously, the team has really started to come together over the last 8 games. And it's been a while. It's been picking up some steam. You know, that good win against Toronto, good win against Miami. That stretch, I think it was starting with the Miami game. I was like, okay, the Magic got to go 5-3 in the stretch. I think they hit 5-3 in that. I think they went 5-3 in that stretch. I think there's a loss in there that we didn't like that could have made it 6-2. But I was like, you know what? 5-3 in that 8 games is good. We entered I think it was 5-3 from there until the All-Star break. And so then I reset the standard a little bit and said the Magic need to go 8-4 on the 12 games beginning with the homestand before the All-Star break. So again, The Magic right now are 6-2. They are very much on track to go 8-4. And we should be greedy. They should go 9-3. Let's be honest. But again, take care of Dallas, take care of Washington. You go 8-4 in that stretch, and I think you set yourself up pretty well for this stretch run. Now, if you want to gain ground, got to win one of the next 2 games. Like Houston, Detroit, two tough games. We'll get to that in a minute. But it's been very clear that the Magic are also getting a lot of support elsewhere. And in the last 8 games, it's obviously been the team has come together. Like the pieces are starting to fit together. The defense is starting to figure it out. But look, the last 8 games has also been about Desmond Bane. And during the 6-8 games, 6-2 stretch in 8 games, Desmond Bane is averaging 26.3 points per game. He's shooting 59.5% from 3, 48.2% from 3 on 7 3-point attempts, 83% from the line. Desmond Bane has been awesome. We've been talking about it for a while that he's just been on a tear really since the calendar year turn. But February, I don't think Desmond Bane will win Eastern Conference Player of the Month. Magic just didn't win enough games. But Desmond Bane will be a nominee. Like he will be in the conversation, and he should be in the conversation for Eastern Conference Player of the Month. He has been fantastic. Paolo Banchero has also been pretty good. 22.6 points per game during the last 8 games. Shooting 42.7%, taking 17.9 field goal attempts. So he's starting to assert himself a little bit more, which I think is the first step for him. Shooting 37.1% from 3 on 4.4 attempts per game. And 80.7% from the line on 7.1 free throw attempts per game. We'll take that free throw shooting for sure. On top of that, 7.6 rebounds per game, 5.6 assists per game. And he's still at 2.9 turnovers per game. But again, we've noticed this too. Like the Paolo train is starting to leave the station. It's starting to pick up steam. It's starting to get itself going. Now, the struggle has been getting everyone else to score. Obviously, Jalen Suggs only played in 5 of these 8 games. Again, he's just been so in and out of the lineup. He missed obviously all the games on this road trip. But those 5 games, he missed the last 3 games of the road trip he played in Sacramento. Jalen Suggs has struggled. 11.8 points per game, 42.9% shooting, 39.4% from 3, 6.6 3-point attempts on 9.8 total attempts. Only 66.7% from line. But 8 assists per game. Like, give Jalen that credit. He is getting a lot of assists. Anthony Black has been okay. 15.9 points per game, 46.5% shooting, down to 32.5% from 3. So he needs to stop taking threes as much. But after that, do you know who the leading scorer for the team is after those big 4? With Franz out, and Franz, again, played 2 of those games. That'd be Mo Wagner at 10.5 points per game. Now, I like Mo Wagner a lot. I think the Magic are managing him the right way. I think he's still kind of getting his legs under him. He still looks a step off. So the fact that Mo is still getting you 10.5 a game, I think is a really positive sign. And I will take that as like he's still figuring things out. He's still picking up some steam. Played his first back-to-back. Like it's all still coming together for him. After that, Wendell Carter's at 8.6 points per game, shooting 43.3%. He's not making a lot of threes. Tristan Da Silva at 7.6 points per game. Javon Carter at 5.8 points per game. The issue for the Magic, and this has been the issue all year, they've had one of the lowest scoring benches in the league. Now, you'd expect that from a team that's injured a lot. And as I made the point after the Phoenix game, they just don't have a lot of offensive guys. So they don't have a lot of offensive weapons off their bench. Jace might get there eventually. You hope you can move Anthony Black to the bench, and Anthony Black can be that engine off the bench. Mo Wagner getting up and running will create some scoring. So it's there, but you just look at a lot of guys and they're just kind of zeros on offense. And when you get injured, that's when that weakness and that's when that really comes out to the front. The Magic do have a bench problem. And Jamal Mosley's been searching for the right rotations and the right playing groups all season long. And look, we're 50 some odd games into the season. He hasn't found it. You can criticize him for that. You say, oh, well, this is why he's not the right guy. Maybe so. It's his job to find it, for sure. But he hasn't found it yet. Maybe he will. Maybe he'll find it just in time, like he always does. And the Magic go on a little run here. But the Magic definitely do need more bench scoring. It's been rough. But at the same time, right now Orlando's getting the best version of Desmond Bane. Right now Orlando's getting the best version of Paolo Banchero, getting closer to the best version of Paolo Banchero. And that is a good sign. That is a good sign for this team because, again, they are coming out of it. Whatever funk they've been in all year, it feels like they're coming out of it. Of course, like I mentioned, they feasted on a weak part of the schedule. Let's not pretend otherwise. Let's not sugarcoat it. They did their job against bad teams, against a lot of bad teams. And the Lakers win was a big win because that wasn't a bad team. They were playing poorly, but that wasn't a bad team. Well, now comes the challenge. Because this homestand and the rest of the schedule is about to get much, much more difficult. Let's chat about the home ahead coming up here in just a moment. But first, today's episode of Locked On Magic is sponsored by our friends over at Indeed. Workplace chaos, deadline stacking up, inbox overflowing, and the one position you have to fill still sitting open. When the pressure is on and you need the right hire, this is a job for sponsored jobs. Indeed Sponsored Jobs helps you reach the people who actually fit what you're looking for: skills, experience, location. So you're not just hoping the right candidate stumbles across your post. And here's a stat that says it all. In the minute that I will be talking to you about Indeed, companies like yours made 27 hires on Indeed, according to Indeed data worldwide. So if you are hiring, spend less time searching and more time interviewing candidates who check all your boxes with Indeed Sponsored Jobs. When you need the right person, cut through the chaos. This is a job for Indeed Sponsored Jobs. And listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to help get your job the premium status it deserves at Indeed.com/podcast. Just go to Indeed.com/podcast right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Need to hire? This is a job for Indeed Sponsored Jobs. The Orlando Magic have feasted on a weak schedule. And look, you can't apologize for that. I tell people this all the time. You bring this point up. I'm like, well, every win counts the same. Every win is the same. You beat the Kings, you beat the Pistons. They're the same. They have equal weight in the standings. So never apologize for beating bad teams. Never apologize for stacking up wins. And if you hit a soft spot in the schedule, get those wins. Get those buckets. Like, no one's complaining. But we all know that, yes, some wins do have a little more value. Beating the Lakers in Los Angeles, not just for franchise cachet, that means something. That is a big win. That was a huge win on Tuesday. And so now the question is, can the Magic do it against more quality opponents? We're going to find out this weekend. The Magic play the Houston Rockets tonight. I'm sorry, I'm recording this a little bit later in the day. The Magic play the Houston Rockets tonight. Very difficult game. Houston is playing pretty well. They've been a little up and down, but they've also won, I think, 5 of their last 8 games. Just looking at their schedule. They are, I'm going to pull their schedule up real fast too and get a good picture because I haven't made my prediction on this game yet. They've won 5 of their last 7. You know, they just played Utah and Sacramento. They're feeling really good about themselves, but they've been up and down. They've had their ups and downs this year. They've obviously got Kevin Durant. They got Alperen Şengün. They got some real offensive weapons. You still got to worry about their offensive rebounding. And that hasn't always been the strongest thing for the Magic, even though they're top 5 in the league in defensive rebound rate. You got Houston tonight and Detroit on Sunday. Those are 2 teams that are really good. Magic have not played a team, frankly, of their caliber since the San Antonio, Oklahoma City road trip, and those were 2 blowouts. Those are 2 games where the Magic got run out of the gym. And so this is where the test is because, again, the Magic want to be a championship level team. They may not be that this year, but these are the teams they want to compare themselves to. These are the teams they want to beat. These are the teams that they're ultimately going to face, and there's still a, non-zero chance the Magic play the Pistons in the first round. I don't think that'll happen. I think the Magic will win the 7-8 game if they get there. I think they'll get to the 6 seed. I think I think the Magic will get to the 6th seed. But if you want to get to the 6th seed, these are the kind of games you got to steal. These are the kind of games you got to win. And so, again, I think 9-3 is still very possible. I think it's very possible to split these upcoming 2 games against Houston and Detroit. Detroit's playing very, very well. They're going to be coming off some tough, difficult games. They played Oklahoma City, beat Oklahoma City last night. Oklahoma City was not healthy. Did not have their guys. They'll play Cleveland, where the Magic are sandwiched between 2 games against Cleveland for them. So they're, maybe they'll pick them. Orlando tends to bother Detroit for whatever reason. No Franz Wagner to guard Cade Cunningham, though, which could be a factor. These are games that are going to tell us a lot. Again, maybe I'm naive on this, but I'm counting the Washington and Dallas games as wins. They won't be easy. You still got to do the job. But those feel like games the Magic are going to win. And so that gets you to the 8-4 that I talked about. But beating Washington and Dallas is expected. It's this game. It's March 7th at Minnesota. It's sweeping that Minnesota-Milwaukee back-to-back. It's getting Cleveland at home on March 11th. It's beating Miami in a critical game March 14th. It's beating Charlotte in Charlotte March 19th, and then following it up with a win over the Lakers on March 21st. These next, let's say, 7-8 games, probably to that Charlotte game on March 9th. So that is 11 games or 12 games. If we're going to split the season up into 12-game segments, this next 12-game segment is going to tell us a lot. The Magic go 7-5, 8-4. We're going to be fighting for the 6th seed. They go 6-6. They're going to fall behind a little bit. Schedule does lighten up a little bit down the stretch once we get to April, and Orlando plays, didn't do some math here, plays 17 games in March. 17 games in 31 days. March is going to be exhausting. And like I mentioned the other day, Orlando has games in hand to make up. March 7th against Minnesota, March 1st against Detroit is a game in hand day. March 7th against Minnesota is a game in hand day. And then March 16th at Atlanta is a game in hand day. All 3 with Miami. I think Toronto is Minnesota, and then Philadelphia is Detroit and Minnesota. So all of these games are big. Don't get me wrong. And the Magic got to find ways to scratch out wins. But we are about to find out just how good this team is. We are about to find out just how improved this team is. And if the Magic want to make this push, it's going to start now. Again, I will note this. That West Coast trip, dumping a Sacramento game, that has the Magic with the 11th hardest schedule by opponent win percentage. They are right behind Philadelphia. Philadelphia is at 10th. Both of us have 2 games against Detroit, game against Oklahoma City. The Magic have a season finale against Boston. Maybe that's important. The Magic are going to get rid of a tough game tonight against Houston. They got 2 against Cleveland, 2 against Minnesota. Orlando still has 2 against Washington. They don't play Brooklyn. They still got 1 against New Orleans, 2 against Dallas, and then a late season game against Chicago that Philadelphia doesn't have. Toronto right now actually has an easier schedule than Orlando because they just played San Antonio, Oklahoma City. They still got 1 against Sacramento, 1 against Brooklyn, 1 against Washington. But again, everything catches up to you eventually. This is a big week. This homestand's big. Go 3-1 on this homestand, you're in really good shape. And you start picking up steam and start believing like, hey, we can beat anybody. That's the one thing the Magic have struggled with over the last few weeks, last few months, is this belief they could beat anybody. That has to be challenged. That has to be corrected starting tonight. It's a big game tonight. Big prove it game. Okay, you beat the Lakers. Great. Do it again. Make it consistent. That's been the challenge all year. And the Magic have to be up to that challenge. I want to thank you again for listening to today's episode of Locked On Magic. Of course, find me on Twitter at @PhilipRR_OMD and on Blue Sky at PhilipRR. You can subscribe to the podcast, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, TuneIn, Himalaya, Google Play, Spotify, Odyssey, and all of the places you download podcasts to your podcast enables device. You can find us on YouTube as well. Just search for Locked On Magic. For the latest on the Orlando Magic, be sure to check out OrlandoMagicDaily.com. You can find us on Twitter at OMagicDaily. And for even more Orlando Magic content, be sure to check out my Patreon page, the Orlando Magic Hub, at patreon.com/Orlando Magic Hub. As always, thank you for your support. And if that's not enough, you can check out our Everydayer Club, get access to the ad-free audio feed of this podcast, as well as access to the Locked On Discord server to chat with other Magic and NBA fans. You can find that at lockedonmagic.supercast.com. That's lockedonmagic.supercast.com. And as always, thank you for your support. For those of you on video, we're going to send you to the first ever 24/7 national NBA YouTube channel. On audio, make sure you make your second listen NBA Game Night on Locked On NBA. But that's going to do it for me today. I want to thank you all again for listening to today's episode of Locked On Magic. Apologies for getting this out a little late. We will be back tomorrow to chat about the Magic's game against the Rockets. We'll see you at the Kia Center Thursday night. That is a 7:30 tip-off. It is on Amazon Prime exclusively, so get those subscriptions ready. We will see you all at the Kia Center tonight for Orlando Magic Daily and Locked On Magic. This has been Philip Rossman-Reich. We'll see you all again next time for another episode of Locked On Magic.